be alright. Yeah. Cause me and my clique, we don't give a fuck. Sweet Daddy, let's go today. Let's go. If you want it, you can get it. Let me know. I'm about to break this thing up. Let's go. If you want it, you can get it. Let me know. I'm about to break this thing up. If you want some, come get some.
Wrestling fans, welcome to FTW Future Focus, and it is that time again. We are going old school. I am your not-so-humble correspondent, Robert Black, and we've got the whole FTW crew with us today. To my caddy corner, since he had technical difficulties last time, he is on the laptop, and he is alive and in living color. 40 years of professional wrestling watching. He is a good goddamn handsome man and a whiz kid with the technology. He is Chris the Gadgetman Woods. How you doing, sir?
What's up, fellas?
It's all right. It's all right. And above the Gadget Man, he is at work again, so he is going to be in and out periodically, but he will be chiming in. He is the founder of our feast. He is the president of FTW Network. He is the man with the plan, the Mastermind, Bobby Rogers. How's it going, Captain?
I am at work dealing with craziness, but you know what? Me and some tea will go a long way, especially with Rhea Ripley.
Thank you for joining us on FTW Future Focus. Almost the shortest show ever, but thank you for the first round, Bobby.
I know Rhea Ripley wouldn't call me short, but anyway.
Thank you for joining us on FTW. That's two already. But now we're going on. Next to me is the silent but deadly, the man from Chicago, Illinois, the man who has more to say about female professional wrestling than Mildred Burke. He is the marvelous one, Marcus Buckley. How you doing, my friend?
Well, what's going on, everybody?
It's all
that
right.
was on point. Yes.
Yeah.
And finally,
They looking at me like I'm crazy in here. They looking at me like I'm crazy.
This is old school, and we go off the rails here at FTW. And underneath me is our host for FTW Old School, the master of wine, women, song, and cigars, and not to mention professional wrestling. He is Tony Motown Allen, the president of Motown Wrestling Group on Facebook. Motown, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. Looking forward to this show. It's going to be a lot of fun today. I'm definitely looking forward to it as I pour my drink. Let's get this rolling.
Sweet. Well, I am going to turn the show over to you because you are the host of this shindig. And I believe that we have, before we start old school proper, we've got moment and tap outs for this week, and I'll turn it over to you.
Okay, this is old school, but I like doing the moments and tapped out because this was a really good week of wrestling, so at least we could touch a little bit on it. And more importantly, they're my mom's favorite parts of the show.
The number one fan.
Mom is our favorite fan, so
right.
Yeah.
So we're gonna kick off with the moment of the week. Bobby, you want to go real quick, or you not, or no?
Oh heck yeah, let me go real quick. Tony saw this with me. It happened last night. Oh my god, their claim is off the charts. Because dude, I guess, is trying to talk to somebody, and the one guy is like, well, Billy Gunn knows about the females. I know a little bit about the dude.
What? Pause.
I'm sorry. That had me cracking up. I was crying. That they played that out so well. Until that moment, I got to give AEW its props. It came up with a moment of the week that just made you forget about everything else that happened during the week. That was funny. It took the acclaim It took people that knew what the hell they were doing to bring a moment like that. Loved it. And hey, keep it going. Keep it going. Yeah, that's my moment of the week.
All right. Chris, what's yours?
Well, I mentioned it in the chat. I just never seen a kid get nuclear heat the way Dominic does. And it's every arena, but it's getting that sounded like a pay-per-view crowd when I was watching it. And then Triple H had the best line. He said, I thought they was pumping in the crowd noise until I came out here. And he goes, it really is this loud. And I was going, did he just admit that they pump in crowd noise? Because that's what it sounded like. But the whole segment, bringing in Nick Aldis like this too is smart because there's really nothing for him to do. Let's let LA Knight do his thing and see where that goes. And then you can bring, Nick Aldis off of the GM spot and have him start wrestling. Because right now, SmackDown's starting to stack their roster, and they're looking like the best show on TV to me. That's just my opinion. They look like the best wrestling show put together. It reminds me of the SmackDown days when they had The Rock and The Undertaker, and they were just kicking Raw's ass. But I've been enjoying SmackDown, and I'm enjoying that it's not bloodline oriented like it used to be. We used to just wait for what the bloodline was going to do. They're actually starting to build stars again. And this LA Knight thing, they squashed Sami Zayn. Do not squash this LA Knight thing. This guy is lightning right now in a bottle.
All right, Marcus, you up?
My moment of the week is once again Bryan Danielson and his match with Swerve, and then he followed up with another great match against Christian. I'm casting my vote right now. Right now, Bryan Danielson is the wrestler of the year for me right now. I mean, just constant great matches throughout the year. He doesn't need a world title or anything like that. I mean, he's just the best in the world right now, as far as I'm concerned.
For a long time.
All right. Rob, you up?
Well, briefly, I will agree with Marcus. Bryan Danielson is my pick for Wrestler of the Year at the moment. My moment and Tap Out are tied together this week, and they both come from Dynamite. My moment was Juice Robinson and that damn roll of quarters. That is an example of how to tell a story in professional wrestling the right way. It had context, it had history, it had a whole lot of emotion tied to it. There, as Chris would say, there were levels there. A lot of levels to that promo, and Juice Robinson and MJF hit it out of the park, and I want to see those two tear each other's heads off. That's the good side of that coin. We'll get to the bad side in a minute.
All right.
Oh, okay. I was gonna ask Rob something, but he might reflect on it on the next part. So go ahead.
All right. So my moment of the week, and the crazy part about it is our moments are mostly from AEW. Chris is the only one that did WWE. Because my moment of the week, she had two moments. My moment of the week is Sky Blue and this transformation that they're doing with her. I loved her match on Wednesday. I loved her match last night. The new attitude, the subtle, they're going to do the subtle turn to make her a heel. The way she's carrying herself, the way she's wrestling. This is exactly what that nice booty chick needs, is this badass chick that I'm absolutely going to love. And Rob, get it ready, because I'm about to channel my inner diva. Because Sky Blue is about ready to take 9 minutes of Black Hawk so far up her ass, she won't know what hit her.
You're so funny.
Thank you for joining us on FTW Future
You're going to make
Focus.
him have an aneurysm, Tony. Stop, man.
I mean, it's old school, and that was an old school promo. I think Rob was there live when he did that.
Dear God.
He weighs 99. Oh, the old school moment there. Oh, my brother.
Testify. Holy God. Well, I certainly need a cleaner soul after that.
Oh man.
No, I think she's just gonna have her call-in plans after that. That's about it.
Thank you for joining us on FTW.
You're gonna make him have this guy's gonna have a heart attack on the
The
live.
cleansing edition, ladies and gentlemen. Old school cleansing.
All right. Now we're gonna move on to the You Tapped Out. We're gonna kick this off like we normally do with the master of the You Tapped Out, which is Marcus.
Well, my tap out was also on AEW. It was doing. It's like it seems like they're trying to do something with Toni Storm, with this black and white vignettes and all this kind of stuff. So why in God's name would they show her two little, whatever these little clips are, doing the picture in picture when we can't hear them, we can't see them? It's like that was a total waste. I mean, I don't know if they're good, they're bad yet, but it's like you're not even giving them a chance by showing them on picture in picture. I mean, that was just a stupid ass production mistake and a waste of their money because nobody got to see it. And it's just like that's Tony Khan once again. Your booking sucks. Now your production sucks. It's like, dude, really, I don't understand what the fuck, really. But that's my tap out.
May I go next?
I was going to call on you next because I think you're going to piggyback off that.
Yes. My tap out moment was time out Toni Storm. Okay, let me explain for the uninitiated. This is the wrong way to tell stories in wrestling. This was sports entertainment at its worst, and AEW has no business doing this. Okay, me and Bobby were talking about this earlier, and he thinks that Toni Storm is trying to rip off Thunder Kitty, who is a independent wrestling woman, but that's not what she's doing. It's a retro act that Thunder Kitty's doing, and it's a hell of a lot more original. Toni Storm is ripping off a movie called Sunset Boulevard from 1950. It was about the corruption in Hollywood, and it's a horrible imitation of the actress lady who goes crazy in that movie, and even down to the lines. It's absolute shit. And whoever came up with this, whether it was Toni Storm, Tony Khan, or Tony, needs to be slapped in the damn face. It was rotten. Those two events are the microcosm of what's wrong with professional wrestling. Juice Robinson in the quarters is what is the right way to do it. Tony's timeout, Toni Storm is the wrong way to do it.
All right. Hey, Bobby, can you go real quick?
Yeah.
You up?
I got a tie, so I'm just gonna pick one. And I'm gonna say it's actually the roll of quarters. Yeah, Rob liked it. Rob, some people get enjoyment out of it, but I just saw a very distasteful thing that happened. That roll of quarters is a symbol of what Jewish kids used to go through when they truly went through school and they were getting picked on and prejudiced against. That roll of quarters to me is just like seeing a swastika flag or the good old Southern Boy flag. And I can't believe that they put that on TV. I'm very shocked, and I'm shocked that they haven't taken it off and they haven't got more complaints. Seeing a symbol like that go on TV, and it makes me wonder who's really thinking there. I would love to do an angle to where I'm going to get somebody with a Confederate flag and be able to talk about the Confederate flag like I would like to. But I know that opens up so many wounds till it would not be good for TV. If we're canceling people out for putting drugs in people's drinks and what somebody said, or if they hit a female or cussed out a female, or clowning on Will Smith because he was defending his wife, which his wife don't need to be defended. She need to be thrown in the trash somewhere. Just putting that out there. This was just distasteful, and I'm wondering what's up with TNT and Tony Khan.
Well, Bobby, what you're saying is that it went too far for you.
And I thought it was MJF's
No,
idea
I
probably to accept it. Like I think it
I
was MJF.
I don't care. I don't care who idea it was.
Yeah.
I don't care who idea.
It was distasteful.
It was very distasteful. That's just like somebody having the white sheets coming on TV and referencing, maybe not saying it outright, but referencing the N-word. It is the same exact thing.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry. I don't care how much of a wrestling fan you are. You can try to say, I'm going to look at the camera directly and say this. You can say I'm soft. I don't whatever. Hey, I'm a marshmallow when it comes to this. I don't care. Because I don't think that anything that projects or promotes any type of racism whatsoever should be allowed. Don't care about free speech in this country when it comes to racism. Because racism is not there to make anybody better. It's just there to hurt.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry. This should never been put in a storyline.
Right.
This should have been done. Right. I'm not going to lie, though. They casted it perfectly because Juice Robinson is the crazy dude that I could see doing something like that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there are certain subjects that shouldn't be touched when it comes to pro wrestling, just like the Katie Vick thing.
They bust people for saying stuff that's not on the show. This was actually on the show on TV.
Well, Bobby, you're certainly not soft for taking offense to it. And I guess maybe it's... I guess maybe the reason I didn't take offense to it is because I know it's coming from a heel. And since it's coming from a heel and it's a criticism of what happened to MJF when he was young instead of a endorsement of it, that I'm willing to let it play out for the sake of a feud. I understand your point of view. I guess it's just the issue of how far is too far. Because, I mean, there have been racist angles done by heels in professional wrestling before. And
yeah, that was way back
this is a different time. The 70s and 80s is different. Just let Hogan run around saying the N-word then, if that's the case. You know what I mean?
I'm not excusing those things. I'm saying that in the context of what they were trying to accomplish with this, it was more psychological in a heel perspective than it was anything else. And I'm not saying that you should be offended. I'm just saying that wasn't the intent.
I agree with that.
Can I explain something real quick?
Me?
No.
Oh.
Basically, you have to look at it from a business sense. So, again, here I am looking at the business sense. And I hate doing it this way, but you have to look at it this way. It's in the sense of business. Tony Khan. Okay. We already got the stuff going on with the Gaza Strip and all of this stuff happening right now. Some idiot wanted to go and bomb the Gaza Strip. Tony Khan he's a Muslim. It's not a bad thing. That's just what he is. He's a Muslim. He's an American Muslim. You got this stuff going on with the Gaza Strip. You got MJF, who is obviously a Jewish dude. You already got a war going on right now that just started. I mean, literally just started over there. And you're trying to use this as a storyline? I mean, they took Muhammad Hassan off of TV back in the day when all that stuff happened with 9/11 and all that. I mean, how can you sit up there and say this is okay? And I'm not saying you, I'm saying Tony Khan. You know, and I mean, people went nuts when it was Muhammad Hassan being the heel doing this. But the thing that's making me shocked about wrestling fans right now is we got a white dude doing it, and it's Okay.
That's the point.
I'm sorry. It's
Well, Bobby, I certainly wasn't trying to offend you by making that my moment.
no. I'm not saying that you are. I'm not saying that you are. Because I understand how you're looking at it. You know what I'm saying? But what I'm saying is that him as an executive, him as an owner of a professional, national or international professional wrestling company should be thinking about these things. This is all the evidence that I'm talking about when it comes to the black dude that was there, they got fired. When it comes to all these people, that's what I'm talking about. I got to take care of something though.
All right. Well, we'll table that for a discussion for another episode. I'm sure we'll get to it again. Chris, what's your tap out this week?
All right, so I'll bring some more light back. My tap out moment was Marcus's moment of the week, and I'm gonna tell you why. Swerve, it looked like he was getting a push. Like the rumors is Daniel Bryan's gonna retire again. So it looks like he's just wrestling every week to get it out of his system, and he's just going all out. We know he's the GOAT right now, probably the top wrestler in the world, but he did not need this win. And towards the end of that match, it looked like Swerve had him, and I was just thinking, y'all push and y'all built. This is the same thing that happened with Wardlow. He started getting this push, and then they had Samoa Joe squash him out of nowhere. And I mean, we were just talking about how impressive Swerve was at the pay-per-view. I'm starting to call him the Black AJ Styles. That's who he reminds me of. He reminds me of AJ Styles when he was younger. And I mean, that was one of the best matches on TV I've seen in a long time, him and Daniel Bryan. But I didn't think Bryan needed to win that match. I thought it just squashed Swerve's momentum. And it just came at the wrong time. But it did show that Swerve can hang with the best in the world and look good at doing it. I was really impressed with Swerve. I've been impressed with Swerve all year. He's one of my favorite wrestlers on the AEW roster. I don't know what WWE was thinking when they released him, because this guy's a star. And you got to have, different color and nationality stars. We've had the New Day for so long, bring up different guys, like a Carmelo, like a Swerve. He's sensational, but I didn't think he should have lost that match. I was really disappointed.
Before I get mine, though, to me it makes sense that he lost because I don't think it would have worked well, Swerve versus Christian, Hill versus Hill, the way where Christian's going right now.
No, but
you need that big face-to-face Christian.
I get it, but I'm just saying they've been doing it, Heel versus Heel and babyface versus babyface whenever they want to.
But that's always work. Just because they've done it don't mean it works good. Like it works good.
They don't have Swerve fight Daniel Bryan. That was just he's been on a run. I thought they were pushing him.
No, I get what you're saying.
These are momentum killers when you
I
lose
thought
like
even with
that.
the loss, he looked good though.
He did look good. He really did.
I mean, this wasn't like Wardlow getting squashed. I mean, like
no.
Even losing, it was like, man,
he's got more personality than Wardlow. I'd rather watch Swerve than Wardlow. How many power bombs do we need to see?
Without a doubt. All right, my tap out moment is actually happened on SmackDown. They traded KO to SmackDown to make up for Jey Uso going to Raw, even though Jey Uso was on SmackDown.
That's a bad trade.
Dominic was out there on Raw Superstar. Why the fuck are y'all doing trade? This roster split is such fucking bullshit.
Because the draft was done on crack. That's why. The draft meant nothing.
But why should we give a fuck about who's on what show when anybody can show up on any show at any time?
Easy answer. We don't. We don't. Neither do they. So we shouldn't.
They're making it up as they go.
We got 2 Raw wrestler NXT champions. Like, stop with the whole brand split bullshit. Like, don't tell me how important it is you had to move a superstar over to SmackDown because this one went over to Raw when these motherfuckers go where the fuck they want anyway.
Either shit or get off the pot with the brand split. Either do it for real or let it go.
Exactly, yes. Mm-hmm. So that was, and I think the biggest problem I had is you're sitting there talking about like who's coming over to SmackDown and you have like Raw people out there at this time. And it's just like, come on now.
I was laughing. I did want to mention something. We got a new subscriber. Her name's Courtney. She's watching
Yeah.
the show right now, and
Hey, Courtney.
she's gonna
Sorry.
spread and
I hope
give
Chris
the link.
warned you.
She's gonna give the link to a few of her friends. So Courtney, we appreciate you watching, and thanks for subscribing and liking the channel.
Thank
All
you.
right, cool.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, so that's it for our current stuff. Now we're gonna kick it off with the old school edition of the show. Our first topic is we're going to discuss what was our favorite old school pay-per-view.
Mhm.
And I'm gonna leave this one off with Chris because I believe this was Chris's idea.
So there's so many to choose from. We all know that, but I'm going to go old school. So I picked the first Starrcade in '83. It was before WrestleMania. I'm only going to talk about 3 matches. It was a stacked card, but at the end it was Roddy Piper versus Greg Valentine in the dog collar match. It was right up Roddy Piper's avenue, just getting in there, beating up somebody. People forget how great Greg Valentine was. I rewatched this match, and it was stiff. It was hard hitting. It was right up my alley. You talk about dog collar matches, Rob, and this was in its essence. This is what a real dog collar match was.
Valentine and Piper tore it up.
Oh yeah, they did. Steamboat Youngblood versus the Briscoe brothers.
Mhm.
First of all, we know how good Steamboat is. He's arguably one of the GOATs. But when you're actual brothers and we talk about tag team wrestling, I think we overlook the Briscoes all the time. This was a hell of a tag match. I forgot how good Steamboat and Youngblood were working together. But the Briscoes, just the tags, the in and outs, and all that stuff. I mean, this was a real. These are the matches that FTR reminds me of. Just watching pure wrestling. People that do it at the highest level. There were no botches. It was just a good, and then the storytelling. Steamboat might be one of the greatest storytellers for a babyface in wrestling history. That's just a fact. Like you said, there's levels to this, and Steamboat might have set the bar at storytelling. And then, because it was called Flair for the Gold, Harley Race versus Ric Flair. There's really nothing you can say. Harley Race was the 7-time NWA World Champion. This is where he passed the torch. This is actual passing the torch to the next guy, saying, "It's your ball, man. You run with it." And Flair had Big Gold. That's when Big Gold was. We thought Flair was the real world champion of the world just because of the way his belt looked on him. You know what I mean? But just talking about storytelling, wrestling for 24 minutes and keeping you captivated from start to finish, they wrestled stiff. Harley Race is one of those guys. He's so underrated. But there's a reason why this guy is a world champion and was renowned. And once he went to WWE, he became the king. But Harley Race versus Flair is just another wrestling match in Flair's long line of great matches and great feuds. And to see Harley Race put him over in a day and age when Hogan didn't want to put people over, or the Ultimate Warrior didn't want to put people over, I just my hat tips off to him for having that great match with Ric Flair. And I think that's when Ric Flair really skyrocketed, with the 4 Horsemen and everything after that match. And he had the feud with Dusty Rhodes. So that card alone, I had to bring up Starrcade. If you haven't seen it, it is on YouTube. You can watch the matches individually or the whole pay-per-view. But Starrcade 83 was one of my favorite pay-per-views.
All right, cool. Rob, you next.
Okay. Actually, when this subject came up, I didn't exactly think that we were going to be doing individual pay-per-views. I thought we were going to be doing like pay-per-views in general over the year, but that's okay.
Okay, you
that's
can do
okay.
it. That's fine.
I do have one that everyone can see on YouTube, and that is a terrific crossroads of wrestling in the 80s. I'm talking about Wrestle Rock 86 by the AWA. That was a fantastic pay-per-view, and practically everybody that was in the 80s and associated with the AWA was on it. The Midnight Rockers, Buddy Rose and Doug Summers, Superfly Snuka, Sergeant Slaughter versus Kamala, They had just any the basic crossroads of everything AWA was in that show, and the only sad part of it was the Wrestle Rock Rumble. Don't listen to that; it will destroy your brain. It's ridiculous. But you can go to YouTube and see the whole thing the way it was. It's like cut in two parts. Check out Wrestle Rock 86 by the AWA.
Okay. Marcus, you up?
Okay, mine was Starcade 87 Chi-Town. And for me, the reason why I said that, because that was the first pay-per-view I got to. I wasn't there, unfortunately. I couldn't get tickets, but my uncle took me to it was a popular old theater in Chicago, the Regal Theater. They had it closed circuit there.
Yeah.
And the matches that stood out in particular was Dr. Death against Barry Windham, because the match itself was okay, but to this day I'm still not sure if that ending was the intended ending. Was what Dr. Death big ass tried to do a leapfrog over a 6'9" Barry Windham and got hit with it in the balls, and he just couldn't move. And I think they had to call an audible on that match. To this day, I'm still not sure, but that just stood out to me. And
actually, Marcus, I think it was a work, because about 10 years later, they redid that ending with a WCW tag title match that was Wyndham and Dustin Rhodes versus Shane Douglas and Ricky Steamboat. And this time it was Barry that got the ball shot.
Okay.
So I think it was a work. I hope it was, because
I'm gonna say Dr. Death sold the hell out of that, because he fooled me. He sold the hell out of that. But the second match that stood out to me was the Road Warriors against Arn and Tully for the tag titles.
Yeah.
And they did the Dusty finish. Oh my God. I thought we was gonna tear that theater up. I mean, everybody was off their feet, just happy, high-fiving, celebrating. We thought the Road Warriors got the title, and for them to have the balls to do that in Chicago, oh my God. And then then I think it was, I want to say it was it Dave Hebner? One of the Hebners came in and said he had disqualified, I think he had disqualified Arn for throwing Hulk over the turn over the top rope, something like that.
Yep.
And everybody in that building was pissed.
Yeah, it was Earl.
Man, it was that. I mean, you talk about getting heat in that building that night. I will never forget it. And then finally, the Flair versus Ron Garvin. Man, you talk about some wrestling.
Yeah.
I mean, that just shows how Flair can pretty much have a good match with anybody. And I think Ron Garvin is one of the most underrated wrestler of all time. I mean, Ron Garvin was a great
the man with the hands of stone.
Absolutely. I mean, him and Flair had two incredible matches, and when you start talking about great Flair matches, that one is often overlooked. But that was it. That was the first pay-per-view that I got to see live. And normally back then, I either went to Blockbuster or I ordered them on VHS. It's the only way I could see pay-per-views back then. But seeing that as it happened was one of the reasons why I made it my favorite.
That's the same year that 87 Great American Bash War Games. So Animal got his get back on Arn.
Yeah.
Oh, he killed Arn, I think. Yeah.
Now, pay-per-view concepts in general, I love the American Bash, especially when they first started it, because it was a tour.
I like the pay-per-view. I like the tour when they was hitting all the cities and everything.
And it was on TV. We could watch it.
Yeah.
All right. Bobby, were you going to go, or are you busy?
Yeah, I got it. I can go real quick.
All right, go ahead.
And this goes over a guy that I had to speak against on last episode. But the Midnight Express taking on the Road Warriors, Starcade, Night of the Skywalkers. I mean,
Starcade 86.
Mhm.
Yeah, nothing more you could say about that. I mean, think about it. Midnight Express Road Warriors on a scaffold.
Yeah.
With Jim Cornette dangling like a little Christmas emblem off of a tree. Yeah, that was.
Big Bubba's supposed to catch him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
More.
legitimately blew his knee out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Big Bubba didn't catch him.
Yeah.
And because the idea for the match was dangerous to begin with, but it was a
Right.
spectacle.
Yeah, that was the match for me. I love that one.
Another Dusty Rhodes creation.
I love the promo leading up to that too. When the
That's one of the
Rollers
best
on
ones,
the
man.
scaffold and they dropped the pumpkins off the scaffold.
Yeah.
Now, the main event of that show was good too. Flair versus Nikita.
And I mean, it
Yeah.
looked like they were gonna fall off.
No, that's definitely a good pick. That feud was phenomenal back then too.
Yeah.
All right, my pick, and somebody mentioned, I think it was Chris. Like, there's so many pay-per-views to pick from, though. But my one that I'm picking is special to me because, like Marcus, this was my first pay-per-view. When they announced the main event for this match, I begged my mom to order it. I'm like, and trust me, I had to work that $20 off because this is back when it was only $20 for the pay-per-view. WrestleMania 3.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, and it was real to me back then. And I'll be honest with you, back then I hated Hogan. I begged my mom to order this pay-per-view because I was sure Andre the Giant was going to beat Hulk Hogan. And I wanted to see that shit live.
Yeah.
AEW's trying to do what they did, and it's not working for them because this pay-per-view, I don't know if you guys remember, it had a bunch of matches. Like,
Oh, hell yes.
but they were all good in their own way.
Yes.
I mean, they gave you a little bit of everything. Like, you had the midgets, Hillbilly Jim and the midgets versus King Kong Bunny and the midgets when King Kong Bunny dropped that big-ass elbow on that little bitty dude.
That's
That shit
messed up. That was fucked
Oh,
up.
I almost picked this one. Honestly,
I did too.
almost did.
I knew somebody was though, because it's probably the greatest pay-per-view of all time.
It was
That was
historical anyway.
I mean,
That
it
was
was a spectacle. I mean, and I can't stand that bitch Hogan, but Hogan Andre was is still to this day one of the most memorable things that you've seen in wrestling. Like,
The
I
biggest
can't
match ever.
stand his ass, but everybody remembers that body slam.
And everybody remembers Savage Steamboat.
Savage Steamboat stole the show, and I was a huge Macho Man fan back then. And even though Macho Man lost that match, I enjoyed the hell of that match. I enjoyed that pay-per-view. I don't think I watched any pay-per-view as much as that. We had that on VHS. I used to watch that pay-per-view over and over again. If I don't watch the whole pay-per-view, I watched Savage Steamboat a million times. Like, I used to keep the tape set on that match, so when I went back to watch it, all I had to do was hit play was on Savage Steamboat.
Hell, I had the commentary memorized.
Oh yeah,
Monsoon and Ventura were on point as
They
hell
were.
for that.
I don't know if it would have been as good without them.
No.
No, Jesse was the man. Jesse and Monsoon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
But that was just a great show. I
Yeah,
mean,
just Ventura going nuts because of Hebner's job during that match. Hebner was out of position. There was a 3 count right there.
he better be consistent, Monsoon.
Yeah. Well, half of that title belongs to Animal Steel. I can tell you that right now. Yeah.
Yeah, that was. I mean, and Chris said there's levels to this, and that's when Vince McMahon separated himself from everybody else.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
All right. Our next subject, we're going to do pick a side.
Okay.
I'm looking forward to this one.
I am too.
Did Triple H do the right thing leaving Chyna for Stephanie McMahon?
I'll go first.
All right, cool. Go ahead, Chris.
Absolutely. Because had he stayed with Chyna, he wouldn't be on TV on Friday night. I'm just saying, man. I told y'all when we talked about female goats, and I got Stephanie on my list. because she is the $1 billion princess. Everybody thought Shane was going to be the next McMahon, and Stephanie was the closest thing to Vince McMahon, period. I mean, you get called the $1 billion princess for a reason, but Triple H's career has been extended, and he had doors open that burying the billionaire's daughter opened for him, literally. And not to mention, probably made him a 14-time champion because he basically was helping run the show and was like, you know what? I'll just win the title. You know, I don't like what y'all doing. You know what I mean? It seemed like he fought when he was fighting Angle. He fought Edge. He fought Orton. Those years when there wasn't a Shawn Michaels out there, or when Cena wasn't Cena yet, the cerebral assassin was the main event, and he always delivered. And just having the billionaire princess beside him over the years is a nice, like I said, it's a nice added piece to his gimmick, I thought. You know what I mean? When they became the Authority and they were just running rampant over the WWE. I mean, and it's a match made in heaven. Like I said, to this day, he has a job because he married Stephanie McMahon, and a big job. And he's probably made a lot of money, and it's probably the best business deal you could have ever made in your life. Chyna, Stephanie. It is what it is.
I'm gonna go next. But the reason why I picked this topic is I was a huge Triple H Chyna fan. I love Chyna. Like, she was the ninth wonder of the world. Just like you guys may not want to admit it, but we all wanted to be in China.
I don't know about
You
that.
look like a dude to
Thank
me,
you
man. I don't
for
know what
joining
you're
us
talking
on
about.
I don't know
FTW
about
Future
that.
Focus.
I don't know about that. She like a dude to me.
Hey, did you see her Playboy? That was no dude in that Playboy.
Man,
Yeah, it looked like they
man,
photoshopped
you see that? Oh, that nasty
Oh, thank you for joining us on FTW Future Focus.
But
Oh,
did he do the right thing? Technically, no. I mean, because I can't say he did the right thing cheating on Chyna with Stephanie. I ain't mad at him, though. I probably would have done the same goddamn thing my damn self, though. I mean, because, as much as I like Chyna,
It's wrestling.
man,
Who didn't cheat in wrestling?
I know. I know.
Think about it.
But the reason, even though did he do the right thing? For him, he absolutely did the right thing. But if he did not do that, do you realize that we would have never got a one night in China? And as much as I love my porn, I could have went my whole life without one night in China. That video was horrible. And I blame Triple H for that. Because Triple H left Chyna for Stephanie. We've seen Chyna on the Celebrity Real World bullshit thing they had on MTV when she was all cracked out and X-Pac was trying to get her to leave so they could go do more drugs. I blame Triple H for that. Chyna lost her job. You know why she lost her job in WWE, other than the fact that she asked for a ridiculous amount of money? She asked a ridiculous amount of money to the woman's father who her man is with. How the fuck did you think that was going to end, Chyna? And I still think to this day, if Triple H didn't leave Stephanie, she might be alive today because the path she ended up on with X-Pac. It's a damn shame that she's not here no more and that motherfucker is. That motherfucker being X-Pac.
He cleaned up his life. DDP helped him.
He did.
He did. And Chyna, when she went to Japan, she had a second career. It's when she came back to America and started hanging out with the same people and had that OD. But she had cleaned up her life. I watched her little story,
and that's the
her
thing too.
documentary.
Like, sometimes you can't be in your circle of friends anymore. Like,
she was a sweetheart.
I know I don't think my dad will mind me mentioning this because he's pretty open about it though. But he had addiction for alcohol and everything. He moved from Chicago to South Carolina.
Yeah,
and he said he had to get out that environment. He wasn't going to quit, and that's surrounding though. So I definitely get that.
Yeah, it was a sad story.
No, it was though. But the Triple H do the right thing, absolutely though, because like you said, look what he became as a wrestler and look where he's at as an executive. That would have never happened with Chyna.
and with that, to end our last show on YouTube, I thank you for joining us on FTW Future Focus. We're all going to get arrested now.
I love the
Holy!
fact that I think my entire answer got dinged.
I could have given you like 6 or 7 in a row, but that would have killed the momentum. Holy crap!
He had a lot of material though. It wrote itself. I mean, I'm being honest with you. One time, it
I
just wrote
like all
itself.
three. I mean, I like Stephanie as well too. So I was a huge fan of all of them though. So it's like, yeah, it just kind of, yeah, it's kind of sucks, but
Yeah, it does.
it's good. Some good and bad all came out of it though.
Yeah,
But she finally got in the Hall of Fame though, so that's a good thing because,
she deserved it.
but it wasn't looking good. Honestly, I think she deserved to go in on her own. I don't think she had to be part of a faction to go into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, she deserved it.
Right. Good luck following that.
Oh, there's no way in hell I can follow any of that, gentlemen. I'm sorry, but no, Triple H did not do the right thing. I'm sorry. They're going. I realize, and you all made good points, that without that infidelity on Triple H's part, without him two-timing Chyna, then a lot of the history of wrestling that we have right now would not have happened. Maybe for the better, maybe for the worse, but we'll never know. But what we're talking about is the initial act here. And if you remember, Adam Copeland's career got made after he screwed around with Lita behind Matt Hardy's back. And he would probably not be the star that he is today without that shit going on behind his best friend's back.
That was when he was the rated R superstar.
Exactly. But see, the point is that even though it worked out for the fans' benefit and it worked out for the business's benefit, that doesn't wipe away the grime of the original act. So even though Triple H has wonderful children and a shitload of wonderful money, that doesn't mean that he did the right thing. And I'm sure that Chyna's family feel the same damn way because they don't have their daughter anymore. After she broke up and lost her career, her life spiraled completely out of control.
They could have still broke up for something else, though. We don't know that.
Well,
And
that's true.
It could have still happened to her.
That's
Yeah,
true.
but if they would have broke up over something else, I don't think it would have impacted her career. Like
No,
they broke up over the boss's
I'm
daughter.
talking about the drug addiction. Her hanging out with. She dated Waltman too, so that's kind of ironic that you just went from friend to friend. Also, nobody ever speaks about that. She dated Waltman too, right afterwards.
Wait, hold on. Check this out, dog. This is the one thing that I can say about real sensitive women. Okay, and I'm not saying this to be offensive. I mean, I'm just saying the ones that actually have somewhat of a heart. That's what makes me feel bad for Chyna.
Yeah.
Like, I know females that are real cool as hell. I mean, got a good heart, whatever. But they date with what they're familiar with because they don't want to date anything outside of it because it's too scary. So if it happens to be an ex-boyfriend's friend, then so be it. Which is weird for us because we don't cross the homies chick. You know what I'm saying?
Code.
Right. You know.
And Waltman crossed that.
Right. You know, and yeah, Waltman did cross it. Females particularly don't give a crap about that type of stuff. You know, they got that rule that they don't have that rule. So
women can be vicious to each other when it comes to relationships.
Oh, they can.
Love is a battlefield. That shit's a song for a reason.
It ain't got to do with each other. They can just be vicious, period. I mean, I know we got a new subscriber here that's a female, but hey, don't get mad. I'm just keeping it 100. Y'all can be mean. Y'all can just do the thing. Hey, y'all are some of the most vindictive people on this earth. You know, if you want to get back at somebody, you find out a good way. Who do you find out a good way to get back at somebody? A female, your sister, your mom, your auntie. They will tell you how to get back at that bug in droves. So
Yeah.
When it comes to the question, I'm just going to answer the question real quick while I got a break here. I'm not going to be politically correct. Hell yeah, he did the right damn thing. He got a $1 billion daughter. He did the right thing. He dove right into the money. He is set for life. He has kids. He has a good looking woman, and come on, man. It was a good choice. Even though I love Chyna to death, their past wasn't meant to be.
Yeah.
Triple H did what he was. Yeah, I'm sorry.
He should have broke up with her up front instead of starting a relationship behind her back.
He was young, and it, like I said, in these locker rooms.
Check it out. On the real, first of all, he's right. In these locker rooms, you that close, it does happen like that. Second of all, though, women do it all the time. They don't tell you. They sneaky about it. They're very quiet, but they don't break up with that dude until she's got feelings for that other dude.
Yeah.
And once she got feelings for that other dude, she's breaking up with that original dude. It's just habit. It's just nature. They do that. They can deny it all they want to, but if you look in the history, the fingerprints will come up. The DNA is there. So my thing is, Chyna was a little bit more bold than the other ones and didn't do those type of things, but Stephanie would do it.
Lita did it.
I'm sorry, Lita did it. Sonny's done it plenty of times.
Sometimes multiple times on the night.
Boy, in jail. but
Chris Candido must have had the patience of Job. There's no way in hell.
She was running the show. He had no voice in it. Yeah. That's the problem.
He was just like, okay, I'll do what you say. Okay, I do what you say. Okay,
yeah,
I do what you say.
Wait, let's not leave out Karen Angle.
Oh, I was thinking that, but I couldn't think of her name.
Let's not leave out Marcus. What do you think of all this?
I thought, what did Marcus do?
Well,
didn't you sit up there? You had it with Karen Angle. Tell the truth, Marcus. You and Karen Angle.
Hey man, I'm a gentleman. I don't kiss and tell, man.
Good answer. Good answer.
No, just be a bro and videotape it and show me.
Thank you for joining us on FTW Future Focus. Last time on YouTube.
But basically, I'm gonna ditto everything Chris said. But I'm gonna keep absolutely, because of everything Chris said, and for the basic fact of, if I got the choice to fuck Stephanie McMahon over Chyna before the surgery, especially, are you kidding? First of all, I used to think Triple H was some kind of sick freak for wanting to fuck Chyna before she had that surgery. I used to be like, ugh, you hitting that? Oh my
That's
god,
funny.
Thank you for joining us.
Chyna look like a straight up dude, man. Y'all gotta admit, with that chin and them shoulders, man. I swear, I used to wonder who got the bigger balls, Chyna or Triple H, because I didn't. I was like, dude, are you really fucking her for real, or just a gimmick? I didn't know what was happening, but I mean, there's no question. I mean, morally, yeah, it was wrong. Okay, but was it the right thing? Absolutely, yes. And then I think Chyna was a basket case. I think them steroids fucked her head up, and she was a basket case. And I think, regardless, I think their trip does that we don't know, that Triple H kept secret, that it was going on with Chyna before Shine Waltman. I think the head case, and you're like, I'm getting the fuck out of this. I see the bright light at the end of this tunnel. I'm dropping this off now.
Thank you for joining us on FTW Future Focus.
I'm just saying.
We've been banned on both YouTube and Facebook now. God help us all.
But you said you thought that Triple H was some kind of sick freak for sleeping with her, but I know why. I know the real reason why Triple H left Chyna for Stephanie. Stephanie spilled the beans on the Howard Stern show. Howard Stern answered he liked anal.
Yeah, he took an ass. Yeah.
I don't.
Stephanie McMahon likes taking it up the pooper.
Yeah, and with Chyna, Triple H was taking it up the pooper, so he wanted to switch.
Hello.
Thank you for joining us.
Ding. One
Yeah,
for
man.
Marcus.
There you go.
No, that's three for
Wanted to switch.
Marcus. Three.
You want to switch it up a little bit.
Think of how many people Stephanie kissed on TV, from Tess to Angle. Like it just went on and on. She was in every angle with every wrestler, even
Think
when she
about how
was.
many. Think about how many wrestlers probably sucking in her pooper as much as she likes it.
Well, we
Yeah.
know about the Macho Man
I'm about
rumors.
to say, yeah. Macho Man.
Thank you for
Everybody.
joining us on FTW Future Focus.
Oh my
Holy-
God. Oh my fucking God. No, you guys did not bring that up. And the
I
reason
did.
why I'm excited about that is because remember I said I had a filler subject, right?
Yeah.
You motherfuckers got it.
You know me, brother.
Oh, you gotta be shitting me. Oh, dear Lord.
You know we be on the same wavelength sometimes, Tony.
I'm gonna need a new marker because this is gonna get this is gonna triple score today.
All
Holy
right.
shit!
So for everybody watching, wonder why we're laughing. So the guys brought up the guys brought up Stephanie McMahon and Macho Man rumor. For anybody who do not know, the Macho Man Randy Savage is rumored to slip with $1 billion princess when she's a 50-50 princess. But we don't know for sure if the rumors are true or not. But he was blackballed from WWE for quite some time. So we're going to discuss the Macho Man Randy Savage, little bitty young Stephanie McMahon rumor. Did it or did it not happen, in your opinion? These are all just our opinions. We're just sharing what we think. We weren't there. We don't know. I know if I was there, it would have been a tag team match. But
Stupid.
Jesus Christ.
Thank you for joining us on FTW Future Focus.
The
So you say
Pablo.
oh
God.
yeah.
but fuck the teenage girl?
Okay.
God.
Bobby, you free to go real quick on this?
Dude, she too young. I can't do it.
Oh.
You know my rule.
I know.
If they're younger than my daughters, I can't do it. So,
Well, do you believe the rumor though?
I don't know. I don't know if it's true or not. It could be or it couldn't be. Who knows?
I'll go on it.
That's what I don't want to speculate on.
If you want me to go, Tony, I'll go with my
Go
opinion.
ahead, Chris. Because you kind of brought it up. So
Well, where there's smoke, sometimes there's fire. That's what bothers me about it. And he was still an active wrestler when WWE purchased WCW. So I don't know when this alleged would have happened, but Stephanie was known to be close with a lot of wrestlers when she was younger, and Macho Man's name has popped up multiple times. And I'm just thinking the hate that McMahon had for him had to come from somewhere other than contract disputes or Macho Man wanting to wrestle and they wanted to push him into commentary. So he leaves for WCW and becomes a world champion. I mean, he should have been in the Hall of Fame a long time ago. I get mad when these guys pass away and then get their flowers and we know they're the GOATs. And Rey Mysterio's still actively wrestling and he's already in the fucking Hall of Fame for the WWE.
Yeah.
Some of this shit doesn't make sense to me. Edge retires, they put him in the Hall of Fame the next day. You know what I'm saying? The next freaking day. They didn't do the Undertaker like that. You know, they didn't do the Rock like that. I mean, it's like they pick and choose. Well, I'm just saying, when we have GOATs and we know who they are, we know who the 80s is the golden age of wrestling to me. And there's certain names that are synonymous. Like you can't talk about wrestling without saying their names. Macho Man's name, y'all just mentioned it. Probably one of, if not the greatest WrestleMania match versus Steamboat on the biggest show of all time, WrestleMania 3. Macho Man's name is attached to that. And it just seemed like they hated him more than they hated the Ultimate Warrior. I mean, facts. I'm just saying. So maybe
Ultimate Warrior lived to go into the Hall of Fame
and died like the next day. I mean, literally. And I'm not laughing at it. He literally died like a week later.
No, it was 2
No, the
days
next
later.
night.
Yeah.
It was
I
like
mean,
Yeah.
he was in the Hall of Fame on Sunday. He was on Raw on Monday. Gave a speech on Monday. He died on Tuesday.
he looked fine too. I mean, it's
Yeah.
crazy. But
And that bitch Nancy Grace had the fucking nerve to say it was a steroid use that killed him. Oh, that pissed me off.
When's Hogan gonna die? Hello.
I've been asking that question
No,
for
I'm just
years.
saying. For every
damn.
example you got, I got an example of a motherfucker that won't die. When's
Like
Hogan gonna die? If you
Flair.
want to talk about steroid use,
I mean, Flair damn near drank himself to death. His insides exploded.
look,
literally,
Flair's
and he's
died
still
10
alive.
times. He was in a plane crash. He got hit by lightning. He had a heart attack. You cannot kill Ric Flair. The day he dies, we're all gonna be like, "Damn, Flair finally died of old age."
Like for real? Like for real?
He was 99, like Bob Barker. Okay, you know what I'm saying? But no, I hope that it wasn't no pedophile type of stuff. But in wrestling history, from Lawler to what was his name, Grizzly,
Grizzly
yeah,
Smith.
what's that, Jake the Snake's dad
Jake
or something?
Roberts' dad, yeah.
I mean,
Buck
this is
Zumhoff.
these stories have it permeated wrestling, and then they get second chances. The Macho Man never got a second chance. That's the only reason why I kind of believe something might have happened. I don't know what, but he never got a second chance. So that's all I got to say.
Marcus, what do you think?
I'm finding it hard to believe that it did, and Macho Man lived on it, because I'm just thinking, if I thought, especially one of my employees, if I had a company and one of my employees did anything to my teenage daughter, oh, that dude not only had you fired, that dude is dead. I'm sorry, especially if I got the resources that Vince McMahon got. You know, I don't care how much money that employee brings me. You cross a line that you can never come back from. So I really truly want to believe that Vince didn't let that go by just not bringing him back. That Macho Man was affiliated with that company for several years afterwards. So my answer is I'm going to say no.
Right.
I'm with Marcus on this one. Look, there's a lot of crazy rumors in the wrestling industry, and a lot of them have to do with personal grudges. And I think that this rumor started because of the huge delay in putting Savage in the Hall of Fame. Somebody was trying to come up with some kind of big reason why McMahon wouldn't put Savage in the Hall of Fame, and there are many alternate explanations for it. Number one thing that Vince McMahon values even more than money is loyalty, and Savage screwed him over by going to WCW when he did, number one. Number two, Savage was insistent that later on, years later, he was insistent that since the Von Erichs went into the Hall of Fame as a family, that the Poffos should go in as a family. He, Angelo, and Lanny all together as the Poffos in the Hall of Fame, and that delayed it. And plus, a lot of things that we hear, some of the wilder shit in wrestling is untrue. Like that god-awful rumor back in the late 80s that the Ultimate Warrior actually died and got replaced. Do you remember that stupid crap?
People you couldn't tell anybody different on that.
Yeah, everyone insisted that the original Ultimate Warrior died and that they replaced him with Kerry Von Erich or somebody else, and you couldn't tell them that he just changed his fucking hair. That's all he did. He changed his hair, wore less makeup because he was scaring the damn kids. So, I don't give any credence to this. If it were true, there would have been some concrete evidence that was produced by now, and I don't see it. So I'm going to say that the Macho Man was not into jailbait. Oh yeah. And thank you for joining us on FTW Future Focus. I'll ding myself and be part of the party.
All right, my turn. My gut tells me it did not happen. That's what my gut tells me. I never really, anytime a rumor came up, I like Macho Man did not sleep with underage Stephanie McMahon. He did not. But damn, so many stuff have me wondering. Nobody ever denied it. Nobody ever said no, it didn't happen. Like they asked Lady Papa, did Macho Man Randy Savage ever discuss it? He's like, Lady Papa didn't want to comment on whether it happened or not. He said he don't know and never wanted to discuss it. The participants never addressed the rumor, which I'm just like, are they keeping it quiet? Especially like later on as social media like started running rapid and stuff that's coming out, like Stephanie McMahon never said he did. Stephanie McMahon admitted on Howard Stern that she takes dick in the ass. She seemed like on Howard Stern she's a pretty open book and never said it never happened. Stephanie McMahon turned 18 September 94. Macho Man was on WCW Saturday night, December 94. So his departure pretty close to when that shit supposedly had happened. Do I think that he has sex with her? Absolutely not. Because I'm with Marcus. Like, I would have killed him. And me and Bob, don't ask why we were talking about this, but like I told Bob, you fuck my daughter, I'm going to hang your ass. Point blank, period. My stepdaughter.
Wait. Just like I told you, get the hanging.
Well,
and my stepdaughters are way over age. Like they're like damn near 30, if not over. I'm still like, hang your ass.
So
I don't see.
You're not a fan of their boyfriends or husbands, even.
I mean, once they're in a relationship, yeah. But I talk about like in that situation where my employee fucked my daughter and she's a minor. Hang your ass.
Yeah. The police.
Oh, well,
would have
count
been
me out of
called.
that one. Sorry, I misunderstood that question. I thought you were just
No. Yours was about what we were talking about earlier.
Yeah. No, I don't care if it
Do I think something may have happened? I don't think they actually like had sex though. It might have been a little sexual contact, could have been some kissing, could have been something that it wasn't as bad as people make it out to be. Wasn't as bad for Vince McMahon to kill him, but it was probably bad enough for Vince to say like this motherfucker out of here and never coming back.
Well, Chris has a point in that where there's smoke, there's fire, and there's plenty of rumor. But I want to see some evidence before I say that Savage did something wrong.
It could have been like.
Let me tell you this. He
could have walked by. He might have some
evidence. There might be some evidence. It might be a videotape out there, where it's sitting up there and they're peeping from behind, and you never know. Stephanie could be sitting on his lap, You know what, Stephanie, go ahead. And he says, oh, yeah, just keep it going. And, sorry.
Thank you for joining us on FTW Future Focus.
She might just be hot in the pants. I mean, she did mess with Triple H when he was with Chyna. You know, it's called a hoe.
Wait.
I'm just saying, Stephanie might just be a hoe.
Oh, boy.
Stephanie is hot in the pants. She's
the $1 billion hoe.
Well, I know one thing.
She is.
I'm gonna speak for myself. If Stephanie McMahon is hot in the pants, she's of age, and the Stephanie McMahon back then that was messing around with Triple H, if I had a choice between my WWE job and Stephanie McMahon's pussy, I'm taking the pussy all day, every day, and twice on Sunday.
And thank you for joining us on FTW Future Focus.
I mean, I don't know if the rumors say if she was of age, it changes the argument. I thought she was underage.
No.
No,
The rumor is underage. The rumor was
Okay.
before she was 18.
For
Even so, it's
Savage,
17
yes.
and
For
a half
Triple
is
H, no.
under 18. You know what I mean? It's
Correct.
yeah, so I get it.
I mean, 17 and a half is still underage. And she turned, like I said, she turned 18 in September 94. Motown was in WCW December 94. So I think it might have just been some innocent, I don't know if you could say innocent contact. It could have been a kiss. It could have been a slap her in the ass. It could have been something that she might have not liked or taken the wrong way. Told her daddy he was gone, but not enough to kill him. But when he left and went to WCW, he took Slim Jim with him. The thing I heard was Vince McMahon was pissed about losing the Slim Jim contract.
Well, yeah, money and loyalty are two things that Vince McMahon prizes above all things. So
But
that
Vince
could have been
McMahon
the only issue.
forgave Jeff Jarrett. Vince McMahon, he put him in the Hall of Fame. Jeff Jarrett held him up for money.
Yeah, but Jarrett took $250,000, which is like fly shit to Vince McMahon.
Oh yeah,
and that was only over one match. Savage took a multi-million-dollar sponsor with him. That's different.
The only person Vince McMahon hates more than Macho Man Randy Savage is Chris Benoit.
No,
And he took a piece of
nails.
Stephanie with him too.
Nails.
Yeah.
No. He hates nails more than anybody.
Yeah.
Forgot
And
about
on
him.
that lovely subject, let's move on to
Speaking of nailing,
We're gonna have a little fun before we do what was better. Let's have a fun one real quick. Not that wasn't fun.
that was weird, is what that was.
nailing her
yeah.
was fun.
I was gonna say if that's Tony's ideal of fun, it's gonna be a long night.
Well, it was certainly
I'm
somebody's
sorry.
idea of fun. And
I
thank you for joining us.
I don't know how you guys are, but no, my definition of fun is fucking Stephanie McMahon.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us on FTW Future Focus.
That's truly nailing her. Yeah.
Thank you for joining us.
And people like rumors and scandal is how you get the ratings.
Yeah. All right, but we're gonna stick with women though.
I'm sticking in a woman.
The panel is.
Thank you for joining us on FTW.
I didn't even get it out. Who was your childhood crush? Wrestling crush. And when I say childhood, I'm talking about like when you were underage.
So now we're
No. Like when you were a kid. Who was your crush? No, I'm not talking about like a.
No, I know
my
what you mean.
childhood crush, like
back that far.
Because like you know, Trish does it for me, but I was an adult with Trish, so the things I was thinking with Trish.
Can
I'm
I
talking
say
about
Pam Grier?
your innocent crush, your innocent childhood crush. I'll go
Does
first.
it have to be wrestling?
Well, it's a old school wrestling show, so yeah.
It's a wrestling show.
Wrestling question.
You know, I was gonna say Pam Grier, Foxy Brown.
I was going to say She-Ra, but that's out.
That's a cartoon, man.
No, she was a get it now. Leave her alone. She was a get it.
Marge Simpson.
My Janet Jackson, though. Janet Jackson from where she was.
Especially on Different Strokes.
No.
Janet Jackson was cute as hell.
No,
And speaking of different
from Good
strokes, thank you for joining us on FTW.
Thelma was bad.
Yeah.
Yes,
And she still looks the same.
yes, she does.
Yeah.
All right, but my
I'll definitely
childhood
give
wrestling
Jen
crush.
some
It's hard for me to pick one, so I'm throwing two out there. I love me some Dark Journey.
Damn it, Tony.
Okay, I'm gonna take that pick away. I'm gonna go with one. Precious. When Jimmy Garvin used to come out with Precious, the sharp dress band, and she was out there with him. I don't know what it was about Precious back in the day, but I know what it was. We didn't really have a lot of good looking women back in wrestling back then. She was one of the few, and I absolutely loved when his music hit and she came out with the little air spray. This effective shit. for me, it was definitely Precious for my childhood crushes.
That's a good pick.
But I love you, Trish, AJ, Mandy. Don't think y'all will later. Don't be mad at Daddy.
Thank you for joining us on FTW Future Focus. Oh, dear Lord.
Well, I'll go. I already said. You already
Yeah,
said.
go ahead.
You know, I love me some Dark Journey. Seeing her in UWF with the missing link, boy, she'll come out in that tight, whatever type of top she was wearing and showing all that cleave. Oh my God. I was like, ooh, I want to go on that journey in the light. Make sit for that for the light, boy.
Listen to Marcus turning into Tony.
Man,
Oh, dear
Oh,
God.
man.
Thank you for joining us.
boy. And it's the most I'll ever get in 1 week. Trust me. But
Man, I know one thing. I wanted to go on that dark journey.
man, for real.
Listen to y'all.
Thank you for joining us on FTW. Oh, good Lord.
Go ahead, Rob.
This is going to be cliche, and you're going to want to slap me for this, but Liz.
I knew it was going to be Liz.
Miss Elizabeth all day long. I started watching WWF when I was 10 years old, and Liz was just that good, wholesome girl next door, and that was the kind of person I am. So, Miss Elizabeth all day.
I'll be honest with you, I had a crush on Liz too. She wasn't one of my top crushes because she was just too goody two shows back then. Didn't realize later on.
Yeah, see, later on, I didn't like her. When she slutted it up with Woman in WCW, I couldn't stand her anymore.
They made her do that, though. We know that wasn't Liz. You know what I mean?
True, but I'm talking about the
still
person.
never talked. She still never said nothing.
I think the Liz that wasn't Liz was a goody two-shoe one. I think WCW was like, be you, do you, boo.
Well, she was Linda Hogan's best friend.
Her and everybody else.
She was hanging out with Linda Hogan.
That's another rumor.
Yeah, that's not a rumor.
And Linda Hogan put the hoe in Hogan.
Exactly.
Well, okay, that's supposedly why Hogan got the black eye at 9, but we don't know that. We don't know that.
We don't.
That she always ran over there.
We saw the evidence at 9. That was that black eye. That was the evidence.
Yeah.
Savage was a little bit high strung. He could have punched Hogan just for.
We all want to punch Hogan, though. That's the point. He got to do it. He got to actually punch Hogan.
Oh God. Chris, who was your crush?
I had two. So since Rob said Elizabeth, she was just flawless. She had that natural beauty, and played the damsel in distress really good. But I was in high school, and I like bad girls. And Nancy, Woman, was one of my faves. And first time I saw her was when she was Rick Steiner's girlfriend. I didn't see her when she was with Sullivan doing that gimmick, but when she managed Doom and became Woman, and then her gimmick with the Sandman, I always liked the bad girl, man. Even when I was in high school, the leather dress, the leather skirt. She had the cane. She would light his cigarettes for him, hand him his beer. Nancy had it going on, man. I was jealous. I ain't gonna lie. I was trying to figure out how Kevin Sullivan pulled her, not how Benoit pulled her. I was like, how'd that ugly little troll-looking dude pull Nancy? But and Nancy's one of the biggest tragedies in wrestling history. But
back in the day, I love back in the day, Kevin Sullivan was a legit athlete. He was cut to the gills.
Yeah,
when he first met Nancy, he looked like that. He didn't look like
he still had a cul-de-sac on top of his head with a little bit of hair growing right there. He looked like a troll, and he was dressing up like the devil. He was running around dressing up like the devil.
Wow!
So what the hell?
I will admit though, like Nancy was later for me. I think she could because Nancy was the first female wrestler I had on my wall. It was in Pro Wrestling Illustrated. She was the centerfold. She was in this little pink, sexy lingerie thing. I brought the magazine for that picture and had it hanging on my wall. My mom, when my uncle came over, my dad came over, the guy when you go in that boy's room, look what he got on the wall. They went in there like, Look pretty good. What's the problem?
Pro Wrestling Illustrated got you in trouble.
I almost did.
Mm,
But damn, Nancy Benoit was, I mean, and the way she carried herself, though, too. Like,
hmm.
she could definitely get it.
Bobby, your
Bobby,
turn.
who's your crush? Okay, I think he said no.
Oh, he's
Honorable
busy.
mention when Sonny first came out. Sonny was a bad motherfucker too.
Now, Sonny was like more like, that was like more adult, like,
Shit.
Okay,
wrestling growing up, and I've grown up too.
Corn in the can, baby.
A little later on, Missy Hyatt.
Yes.
For me.
Missy was, no, Missy, for me, was when I said pressure, Missy and Pressure were close.
Yeah.
Very, very close.
Missy Hyatt was the kind of girl that did the airheaded blonde thing very well.
Yeah.
And it's not exactly an attraction, but
Missy Hyatt was that dirty bitch you fuck in the alley.
You get ideas.
Her and Diamond Doll. They look like a wrestling whore.
And I used to love Hyatt and Hot Stuff International.
Yeah.
Very underrated fashion.
Yes.
All right, guys. We're moving on.
Yeah. Okay.
We're gonna start. We're gonna go ahead and do our last segment, which is going to be what was better. So, anybody seen any old school shows in the past? And we got Courtney in chat. How you doing, Courtney? Thank you for joining us. And we also got True Zoo TV. Thank you for joining us as well. I'm pretty sure those
don't count.
No, I mean not legit. Thank you for joining.
Right. You got it.
But if y'all want to leave some dirty comments in there, feel free. But we're gonna go. So basically, what I like to do is like throw out some scenarios out there, and then have the panel pick what was better.
Mm-hmm.
And it could be serious, it could be fun, it could be whatever. Though. So I hope you everybody enjoy this. But we're gonna kick it off with TNA. Which TNA signing was better back in the day? Sting or Kurt Angle?
Damn, this is.
I don't think Bobby's free, so we're gonna kick this off with Marcus.
I remember thinking back then it was Kurt Angle because at the time I didn't know all the stuff that was going on behind the scenes in WWE. So with that being said, I remember thinking how huge I thought it was that Kurt Angle went to TNA. I was like, oh shit, he's going to TNA. Wow. And I started thinking about, man, him against AJ Styles, him against Christopher Daniels, him against Joe. I started thinking about all the matches. So for me, this going back from memory, I want to say Kurt Angle.
Rob, what do you say?
I'm gonna say Sting. Marcus has a point in that the Angle signing produced some damn good matches. I loved him and Samoa Joe. Great stuff going on in the ring. The reason I say Sting, though, is because he became more synonymous with TNA. The stuff that he did with Abyss, especially when it came to fighting for Abyss's soul with Mitchell, the Sinister Minister. The stuff that he did with Jarrett, he became more as much of a part of TNA as he did WCW, and he stuck with that company until it became something else that he wasn't a part of anymore. So I have to go with Sting on that one.
I'm kind of laughing at Bobby up there. Like, he's really into that conversation that he's having.
Yeah. Yeah.
Chris, who do you got?
I got a tie. I'm just going to tell you why. To me, they're not originals. and they're the two biggest stars in TNA history. Period. Kurt Angle's introduction to TNA and the feud with Samoa Joe is probably my favorite feud in TNA history. Kurt Angle was still in his prime, and we know about the neck injuries. But we're talking about when they throw around 5-star matches with Kenny Omega and the Bucks. Kurt Angle was putting on 5-star matches every time he stepped in the ring. It seemed like, I mean, that's how fabulous he was. Sting, on the other hand, and this is for nostalgia reasons, when WCW died, Sting was WCW. It don't matter who's the champ at any time. Just like Hogan was WWE at one time, and for him, he didn't wrestle for so long. It was like Sting will never wrestle again, and then he popped up on TNA. When I say I marked out, and he could still go. The feuds he had, the title match, him versus Angle was a good feud. Him versus Jarrett, him versus Hogan again. I've always loved Sting. Sting, he's the icon. But for me, as a tie, they're the two biggest names that ever grace TNA to me. And it's just, and that's over Samoa Joe, Flair, you name whoever's been there. But I got it as a tie. I can't choose, man. I loved them both, and they both impacted me. I was ecstatic when both of them came out.
Bobby, can you get in on this?
Okay.
No,
all right. It's kind of cool because we got one for Sting, we got one for Kurt Angle, we got a tie. Bobby, did you want to chime in?
Okay, what was the subject?
We're doing what was better, and the question is, what was the better TNA signing, Sting or Kurt Angle?
Ooh,
That's what we all said.
mm-hmm.
I love when y'all go ooh on my questions.
ooh. Oh.
That's the magic of old school.
I couldn't choose.
That's not even fair, man. That's not even fair because both of them was equally potent in the.
What I
We
said.
got, we got one for Sting, one for Kurt Angle, and we got one tie. Chris can choose.
I'm gonna be honest with you. It's got to be a tie. You can't pick one over the other. It's got to be because both of them was equally important in the company when they went through it. I mean, Sting had iconic status and brought TNA up to the level that it's at, and Kurt Angle maintained that level so Sting didn't get stale. It was an equal balance to where you could do nothing but appreciate both of their runs and look at it as something that was just phenomenal.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's got to be a tie. It's no way you should be able to choose this one. There should not be no one. There should not be the others. Both of these guys were important. Both of these guys had equal value to the product they had.
And then they started the Main Event Mafia together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Main Event Mafia, another underrated group, in my opinion.
Yeah.
That was
Samoa Joe, baby. Samoa Joe.
But we have a tie. Bobby, when we still have a tie. Oh, there will be a winner here. Now, and the reason I picked these two is because it's them two and everybody else, in my opinion.
Levels.
Like, there's no question that when you pick it, it's between them two. Not Jeff Jarrett or anybody else. These two. I'm leaning more towards Marcus and what he said, because when Sting went there, and this is why I'm picking him. This is my opinion. When Sting went there, I was happy he went there. I wasn't surprised that he went there. Was happy to see him wrestle again. I'm not like, oh my, he's not Ric Flair to me, but it was good to see him there. And I knew he was going to be in WWE, so that was cool that he showed up there. When Kurt Angle went, I'm like, oh my God. I cannot believe TNA took the greatest wrestler at that time from WWE and put him in TNA. Both of them had phenomenal feuds. Kurt Angle is on a whole different level, though. Like, Sting could still go, but Kurt Angle was the best wrestler back then with his demons. Can you imagine what he would have done if he was clean?
Mm.
For the oh my God part, because they are pretty close. They are pretty close as far as importance to the company. Because of that oh my God, they just took Kurt Angle from WWE. It was Kurt Angle for me. Now, my next question, though, for you guys. Sticking with Sting. Sting was WCW. Who was better in their prime, in their company? Sting or The Undertaker? You want to kick this off, Rob?
Okay. This is a hard one.
It is.
Because it has to be The Undertaker. Because the Undertaker in his prime in WWF had a better run than Sting in his prime in WCW, because WCW really screwed Sting up. Sting could have been at Hogan level in 1990 through 1992 if they had used him effectively against the heel roster that they had. They had Vader, they had Cactus Jack, they had Luger,
He
they
kept
had
getting hurt.
What's that?
He kept getting hurt.
Yeah, that's but they could, in the time frame that he wasn't hurt, they could have used him a hell of a lot more effectively than they did. But the booker at the time, Ole Anderson, completely dropped the ball with Sting with the Black Scorpion thing, going back to Flair and putting the title on him. I mean, I'm not saying that Flair didn't deserve it. I'm saying that Sting could have had a much better run and a much lengthier run if WCW wasn't obsessed with putting their world title on heels and using Flair as a stopgap all the time. I'm not saying that was his fault, but look at the way that The Undertaker was booked in WWF by comparison, especially later on when the Attitude Era hit. And he kept catching momentum all through the American Badass phase too. I mean, Undertaker was utilized much, much better. So Undertaker.
And real quick though, I wasn't, when I say they're in the prime, I wasn't picking like a certain era. It's like full time. I should really say when they were full time.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
You covered up. I just want to make sure before they go on. Like, I'm not like picking like, okay, Surfer, like when they were like full time competitive. Which like you covered that though, but yeah, that's what I meant by prime.
Even Crow Sting.
Yeah.
No. I'm sorry. They didn't pull the trigger on him versus NWO fast enough. They kept him in the rafters for way too long, and the whole debacle with Starrcade 97 killed off everything that Sting had going. That was probably Hogan's fault, which
Bischoff, Nash, Scott Hall.
Exactly. But by comparison, Undertaker just had a better run.
Chris, you can go next.
Undertaker also had a longer run because he was wrestling those same years. He started out, he was in WCW in like 90, 91 and made his
Mark
debut.
Allen with the Heart Punch.
He made his debut in 92 as The Undertaker. Sting, like Rob was saying about, remember, Hurd was making a lot of those decisions. And Flair wasn't happy. So they would put the belt on Flair to make him happy. Yeah. He took Big Gold in 92 and went to WWE and won the Rumble. So, I mean, that's how
Jim
that story
Hurd
started.
is just a moron.
Right.
Jim Hurd was an absolute moron.
They messed up the Vader line with Sting. They messed that was a debacle because that could have been. They messed up Luger. to where he bounced in 92, 93 to WWE. Sting was left by himself. My most memorable matches for Sting is 1 year. I thought it was longer with the Great Muta. Those were some of his best matches with the Great Muta for that 1 year where we hadn't seen nothing like it. Like we were like Muta versus Sting for the television title. Sign me up right now. Sting versus Barry Windham. Sign me up right now. But The Undertaker, we can go back to 92. He was in that Royal Rumble to WrestleMania 26 with him and Shawn Michaels. Now we're starting to talk about some of the greatest matches in WrestleMania history towards the end of his career. And he changed with the times. His gimmick changed over time. He has more memorable moments than Sting too. The Hell in the Cell with Mick Foley, throwing him off the top of the cage. The matches with, like I said, Shawn Michaels. The first Hell in the Cell with Shawn Michaels. The Undertaker when he became the American Badass, and he came to a shoot style where he was submitting guys with the triangle chokehold, and that power bomb he did, which I still prefer that over the Tombstone. I mean, the Undertaker had a longer reign, and he had to navigate through the rise of The Rock, the rise of Stone Cold, Triple H taking over, winning the title whenever the hell he wanted to, the new guys coming in, Brock Lesnar, Orton, Batista, Cena. He had that match with Edge. I forgot what pay-per-view.
Mania 24.
Name all the guys that wrestling him and losing to him. He put Jeff Hardy had already done the tables, ladders, and chairs match. They said he wasn't over till he wrestled The Undertaker for the hardcore title. And then Jeff Hardy got into the world title matches. His match with CM Punk before Punk left at WrestleMania. So The Undertaker's prime was longer. He's still probably the greatest superstar creation of Vince McMahon other than Hulk Hogan. Those are The Undertaker, just his gimmick is it's legendary. And sometimes Sting is forgettable. And I mean, look at him now. Sting's wrestling his old gimmick at 60 years old. The Undertaker came out. He didn't dress up like The Undertaker when he came out on NXT. He came out as Mark and whooped that ass again. Like he knows the climate. He knows what people want. They wouldn't have believed it if The Undertaker rose out of the ring, because then we would be expecting The Undertaker to wrestle again at the Rumble or Survivor Series. He changes with the game, and he always performs. So I got The Undertaker.
Bobby, can you go?
Yeah, let me go real quick.
All right.
Come on, man. You talk about people changing. He went from Crow Sting. No, first he went from Surfer Sting to Crow Sting to Joker Sting to I'm Confused Sting. So I'm going to jump off the balcony and go through 13 tables Sting. This man has had more evolutions than Jericho.
No, he haven't had that many yet.
Okay, you got a point. But still.
But yeah, I get what you're saying.
But still, this man has reinvented himself. And he has always been the cornerstone of the company until now. 40 years later, this is the first time he's not been the instrumental cornerstone of the company. Undertaker has been a piece, a major piece, but to call him a cornerstone is different, because John Cena fills that role, The Rock fills that role, Stone Cold Steve Austin fills that role. So when I look at everything and I have to look at what has to happen, yeah, he was in the. I mean, don't get me wrong, Undertaker was in there with a land of giants. And I'm not talking about giants as far as height. I mean, giants as far as the industry and drawing people and things of that nature and selling merchandise. When you look at the total package, Sting has done more than The Undertaker. He's had to work a lot harder than The Undertaker because he has had that machine behind him. Sting has done a lot that he does not get credit for. And this man should really be looked up at a higher stat. That's why I get mad when I watch it now. I don't want to see him going through no damn table.
No.
I don't want to see him flying through no door.
Right.
I don't want to see him getting super kicked by the Cucamonga Crumps. I'm sorry. That ticks me off. Anytime that anybody sticks in the ring with Sting, Sting should clothesline them, Scorpion Death Drop, 1, 2, 3. It should be just like Jay Cargill matches. It'll be 15 seconds and gone. So, yeah, that's my look at it.
Marcus.
I say the Undertaker, basically, because when we talk about the Undertaker, this man's a four-time world champion, and we never talk about any of his title runs. I mean, let's think about how over he was to never talk about a world title run that he ever had. Now, I know a couple of times they were supposed to be longer, but he got hurt, so they ended abruptly. But when we talk about this is a man for how many years basically was the main event WrestleMania. He could come out now, say I'm coming back and be possibly the main event one of the nights of WrestleMania. I mean, that's just amazing how he could be over that much. Again, what we already talked about, you had Austin, Cena, Rock, etc., and he's right there, and that his matches was as big as important as any match on WrestleMania. Everybody talked about, is Undertaker gonna lose? I mean, that was one of the main topics of WrestleMania for years. Is the Undertaker's match? I mean, that's unheard of. When you look at the world title matches that happened during that time, so I'm going with Taker.
And all the names you mentioned, he has wins over them. They came and gone, and he was still he outlasted Cena, and Cena came in the middle of his run. So I mean, his match. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
My best friend and I actually had $100 bet that got screwed up by Brock Lesnar. I said that they were going to feed the streak to Cena, and he said that the Undertaker's streak would never end. So, like a year or two before the match actually happened, Lesnar cost me $100.
And Cena didn't need it though.
Wait. How did it cost you $100 if he was saying it would never end? Technically, you were both wrong.
Well, they both lost. So who got the money?
Yeah,
There's
we were
$200 floating.
Right. We were both wrong, but I probably would have won that. I think if they were going to give the streak to anybody.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
you didn't have to pay him, but if it wasn't Brock Lesnar, you think Cena would have ended. Okay,
I think they should have never broke it. Period, because it was
no. The streak had to end. It had to end.
If it did, Bray Wyatt would have been my pick. Like how you passed the torch, I would have gave it to Bray Wyatt.
I would have given it to Punk the year before. Honestly,
Well, Punk was on his way out.
Yeah,
he was on his way out.
Those are the two guys I said that he wasn't on his way out at that time.
He left though, right? That was his last WrestleMania.
No, it was his last WrestleMania, but he wrestled almost another year. He didn't lead to the following Royal Rumble.
I thought he retired in 14, so I thought that was
the reason.
It was like he did that Mania. He did that Mania with him after losing the title to The Rock. Then after he lost the title to The Rock, he should have beat The Undertaker, which would have validated him losing the title to The Rock. He wrestled until the following January at the Royal Rumble. He retired. He quit after the Royal Rumble. It was a year of bullshit that he left. If he would have ended the Undertaker streak, he'd still be there.
Now, see, if the reason that I made that bet with my friend is because I'm a cynic. I didn't want Cena to break the streak, but I thought that would be the ridiculous thing that they would do. And as it turns out, what they did do was even more silly.
Yeah. But
I would say more silly. It's the same level because neither one needed it.
No.
The streak should have ended like it should have been that young Jericho, I beat The Rock and Stone Cold at the same time thing.
That's why I think Bray Wyatt to elevate his character should have been
exactly. It should have been something to elevate somebody's character to a megastar.
Wyatt
you invested you invested 2 decades into that streak. The payoff should have been making somebody a megastar, and they did.
But also, had that streak never ended, we might be calling him the greatest of all time.
No, No, if the streak never ended, we would still be thinking that he's going to show up at WrestleMania still, even though he's retired.
I mean, that's
One-
like DiMaggio's 56 hit streak. I'm just saying, 22, 23 WrestleMania, it'll never be broken. And then the next new guy starts a streak and gets close to like 17 and finally loses. You know what I mean? That would have been kind of cool.
All right, but as far as who was better, my pick, before I get my pick, Shannon Renice has been chiming in on chat. She loves Stone Cold Steve Austin. That was one of the best of all times. And she also loved Andre the Giant. A lot of other comments in there. Go check out live chat. You guys are watching live. You want to join in the conversation on live chat, definitely do that. Man, Rob actually kind of changed my pick.
Uh-oh.
My pick was originally Sting. And the reason, and I was picking Sting. I'm a bigger Taker fan. I felt like Sting was given the keys. He was the top guy on multiple occasions in his company. As great as Undertaker was, he was rarely the guy. It was usually like Shawn Michaels, The Rock, Stone Cold Steve Austin. Like, the Undertaker was never really the face, the guy. Like, we put the Rock on your back and you run with it. He was great despite that. But I'm like, but Sting had the company on his shoulders. Like, the company's really dependent on Sting. Both companies were, TNA and WCW. I think they depended on Sting a lot more than WWE had to depend on the Undertaker because of the talent that was around him. So as I'm talking, but a lot of what Rob said is true, because even though Sting was the face of the company and he was the one that they leaned on, God damn, they dropped the ball so much with him.
Mm-hmm.
They really did. Like, they really had a lot of opportunities to make him bigger than he was. So my pick is The Undertaker.
And y'all keep saying dependent. He might have been the most dependable star they had. Stone Cold had problems. No. I remember when they had the corporation, they built that around when or whatever it was called, when McMahon, they built it around the Undertaker. When
the corporate ministry.
Yeah, when he put Stone Cold and set him on his feet on fire, and he had Edge and Gangrel and the APA, where the Disciples of Destruction or whatever they were called, Apocalypse. I mean, he never really, because he's the in-betweener. He's the perfect case where we didn't know if he was we liked him whether he was a heel or a baby face. To where he came back, he could do heelish shit, and we cheer for him because he's the Undertaker. There's never been a gimmick like that. You could fit him in and have him. Oh, we need to put Cena over this week. Have him fight the Undertaker on SmackDown. We need put Orton over. Have the Legend Killer fight the Undertaker. He always fit. He was the guy, break glass, and he would come out and perform while these guys were falling off. He still was there. He was the steadiest guy. You need guys like that.
All right. Next question. And this was a legit question on my list. I'm not saying this for what came up during this conversation, but it fits. What's better for business? What was better for business, or what would have been better for business? Ending the streak or not ending the streak? When it came up, I was like, Jesus Christ, they're in my head.
We all think alike that's why we're a crew. That's why we're a crew that loves wrestling. This is where our brain lives, Tony.
All right, I'm gonna go first because I said my answer. I really felt like this should have been the streak should end and be a payoff to make somebody a megastar. I would have been fine if it was Punk. I would have been fine if it was Bray Wyatt. I'm not fine with Brock Lesnar doing it, and I wouldn't have been fine if John Cena did it. I think John Cena would have pissed me off even more than Brock Lesnar, to be honest with you.
It would have been 50-50 for me. I would have been pissed either way.
But I think the streak should have been a young stars. I beat The Rock and Stone Cold on the same night moment. So I feel it should have ended. I just don't agree with how it ended. I know your answer, Chris, so you're going next.
I don't think it should have been a young star, and you might have swayed me. There's another guy I would say, to me, I would have believed it if he beat the streak, and I'm gonna tell you why. The legend killer, Randy Orton. Only because there's always going to be, he's got 14 titles. If he never wins another title, he's tied with Triple H.
Yeah.
But what separates you? You know, John Cena has 16, but do we believe he's as good as Ric Flair? Hell no. But for his era, he might have made more money and been a bigger star because the things have changed with media and Twitter and Facebook and Instagram and followers, and you got to have this many followers. Just seeing the Rock shows up on SmackDown, 84 million people, you know what I'm saying, pop up and are following them and start, you know, getting on these media sites. But like the legend killer, this could have separated him to where you're like, he's one of the go. Orton is probably, if I could be a professional wrestler, I would have wanted to be Randy Orton. And I'm not talking about his side stuff, but the look, his move set, trust me, that's how you design a superstar, is Randy Orton to me. And his attitude, the way he works, this would have been great if he beat the Undertaker, you know, in 21-1. But what made Brock Lesnar beating him was the Advocate. The 1-21. That Paul Lee sold that. Lesnar didn't need it. He would still beat Brock Lesnar if he never beat the Undertaker. Yeah. He would still be doing the same reason why none of y'all like him is the same reason why I tell you he's money. Like McMahon's always gonna use Brock Lesnar because he's money. It's just there's certain guys that when you put them on a show, people tune in, people buy the pay-per-view rates go up, people show up to the shows. Lesnar's one of those names. He didn't need it. Cena didn't need it. But my pick would have been Bray Wyatt or Randy Orton, the legend killer. Wyatt, because I think he had the best gimmick since the Undertaker gimmick. I think it was one of the most creative gimmicks when it was done right. It was one of the best gimmicks I had ever seen. The Fiend stuff kind of messed it up to me. But
now, I don't know if you guys know which one it was, because Undertaker wrestled Randy Orton. Yeah. He also wrestled Edge. One of them were picked to end the streak, and they said
Edge was. And Edge said no. He was like, they all revered him. He was the locker room, you know, general. But honestly,
can you imagine what that would have done for Edge's career?
Edge had a pretty good damn career. I'm sorry. His career's fine. His career's fine. He's over in AEW, and they revere him like he's a legend.
But the thing with Edge is his career is fine because of him. It wasn't because of the machine. Edge did that himself.
Yeah, he's creative.
Like the ultimate opportunist, he did all that shit himself, though. But yeah, Ron.
You know, over the years, I have come to agree with the friend I made the bet with. The streak should not have ended. I think that it should have been, he retired undefeated the same way that
Floyd Mayweather.
Well, yeah, to a certain extent, yeah. Retired undefeated and left that benchmark for somebody else to follow. But if it needed to end, I think that a great opportunity was lost because they didn't give it to Roman.
Yes.
The year that Roman fought Undertaker in the main event of Mania, that should have been the year that the streak ended. I can't remember which Mania it was, either I think it was like maybe 32 or 3. But that should have been the year that the streak ended, and then it would have been like 24-1.
It would have won it. The
Bulls would have came down. They would have shut WD because, you know, that's when they still didn't like Reigns.
Yeah, exactly. That would have been the perfect opportunity to turn him heel. You think he would have been in God mode now?
I see what you're saying, Rob.
Right. He would have had heat that would make Dominic Mysterio look like Mother Teresa today.
I don't know.
But yeah, I'd say the streak should not have ended. But if they were going to do it, they should have given it to Roman, because that would have made him so despised that he would have been like a legendary heel earlier.
Now, before we move on to Marcus, live chat's on fire right now. Shannon Renee said, Chris, well, Lamar, you might be right. I say he might be. But then she said, but we never know because I hate Lamar and everything that comes out of his mouth.
What the fuck?
Oh,
Tony, why are you doing that, man? Come on, man.
oh. Chris, I love you, brother. You.
Hold on, wait, hold on. I am tripping because I'm reading this stuff as I'm like taking care of customers, and it's like, God, she harsh, man. She harsh.
We've got hey, FTW Network has hard fans, hardcore to the bone. So we love you.
It's a Chris takeover. There's all his people in there. I'm just like kind of going with the flow.
Hey, I love Chris, and he's hard on me. So
but when
all
I say
good.
everybody hate Chris, because that TV show, everybody hate Chris.
I can't say I like him too much. She keep throwing me out the house every time I come see Hillary.
Thank you for joining us on FTW Future Focus, and that is an even 25. Good Lord.
Oh no, don't be sorry. I'm just messing around.
Yeah, it's okay.
I mean,
it's
No,
okay.
it's all good.
We all talk about who should have ended the streak.
Yeah.
Or not ended
or
the
whether
streak.
the streak should have ended or not, and who.
I got a person in mind, but y'all gonna think I'm crazy. But I think it would have helped his career a lot. And they basically crapped on him in the end anyway. But I think it would have helped him a lot. And y'all gonna laugh, but it's the truth. Dolph Ziggler.
Oh, I'm not gonna laugh at that. I'm not gonna laugh at that at all.
No, that's actually
a good pick.
A match that also never happened at Mania.
Yeah. Because that would have been a good match too. I like that pick, Bobby.
Yeah.
The pop that would have happened after that.
Oh, people.
He comes out of nowhere. Nobody knows him. He does the zigzag, pin him 1, 2, 3. The crowd goes nuts. He walks off. He takes his girlfriend home. He makes her tired for 8.5 hours, and he comes back to work as I
like your pick. You like talking about laughing.
Thank you for joining us on FTW. Wow.
Yeah, Dolph Ziggler's my pick.
That's a good pick.
Yeah.
All right.
Marcus, what say you?
I say it should have ended, because I think the whole point when they started acknowledging the streak was it had to be a payoff, or otherwise it wouldn't have meant anything. Well, I'm not gonna say it wouldn't have meant anything, but it wouldn't have meant as much as to keep making this year after year he wins. And the question always going to be, well, who's going to beat him? Who's going to beat him? So I think for it to have had a bigger payoff, now I think they fucked it up by giving it to Brock, but I think I think for the whole thing to have made sense, there needed to be a payoff, and for somebody needed to end it eventually to put that streak to rest instead of just leaving it. Because now nobody else can do it. Now, they'll never try to.
We'll never see 20-0.
Right.
It's going to be hard to wrestle for a company for 25 years anyway. Now,
I think the closest we ever gonna get to it was when Edge was doing it and Undertaker beat him, whatever WrestleMania that was.
24.
That was part of the whole lead up to that match. But and as far as who should have ended it, my first pick would have been Bray Wyatt, because he was the one who had a as close of a gimmick you're going to get to the Undertaker as they'll probably ever do at the time. And he was calling himself the Eater of the Worlds, the New Evil, all that kind of stuff. So that would that would have been perfect to pass the gimmick on right then and there to let him. I mean, not pass the gimmick, but pass the torch right then and there. And again, my second pick would have been Roman, because can you imagine Roman would still be talking about that shit right now?
Yeah,
I think it would have even meant more, because Taker actually wanted Roman to end the streak. That was his pick, not Brock. That was a Vince call, but he would have been talking about that. Would even added more to his character right now. They're talking about he's the one, the tribal chief. I ended. It's my yard. All that.
right.
And
Marcus, if Roman would have done it, he's got Heyman like Lesnar had it. So Heyman would have been the 1 in 24 or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Heyman would have sold it like, this is why he's the tribal. The Rock didn't do it. Rikishi didn't do it. Stone Cold didn't do it. Reigns did it.
It would have been a better sell because it would have been both of them selling it, not just Heyman.
Oh, yeah.
Because Roman would have been feeding off that shit and bragging about it too, unlike Brock.
Yeah,
Right.
and history would still be about the same as it is now, except that
there would have been an added
it would have been an added plaudette to the crown on Reigns.
All right, we're gonna do two more. We're gonna do a fun one real quick. But we're gonna do a Tony Allen one real quick because it's a little perverted, and then we're gonna do one more after that. The next one is about the Bella twins.
Oh, God.
Which Bella twin do you think was better at her mouth to get over in the business? Or with her mouth to get over in the business?
Let me go first.
Oh, dear God.
Whoever was the one that was dealing with John Cena.
That would be Nikki.
Yeah.
Yep. She used her mouth very well. I gotta go.
Thank you for joining us on FTW Future.
Play the James Brown song, Bobby.
You knew it was
Play the
coming.
James Brown song. Tony,
All right, Mr. James Brown, you next.
I'm calling Tony the rated R superstar, Tony Motown Allen. You know, oh God, man. I got people watching. This ain't me. This is these hoodlums making me answer these motherfucking questions.
Just give me your answer. You know you got an answer.
Well, anytime it's like the Triple H Stephanie thing. Nikki got with Cena, her career went to the top. She sucked her way to the top, just like J-Lo on In Living Color.
And thank you for joining us on FTW Future Focus.
Oh, well,
Demonetized edition. Oh God, we're gonna get arrested.
Which Bella sucked?
Yeah,
Oh,
Nikki
God.
cut a better heel promo than Brie. So I'm going with Nikki.
Nikki, all right. Rob, who you got?
Oh dear God in heaven. Okay, I am gonna say that which one had the women's championship?
They both did.
They both did. Nikki had it the longest.
Right,
Jesus. Well, okay. Just for the sake of variety, I'm gonna say Brie, because she helped get her husband over even more during the Yes movement. So Brie Bella getting Daniel Bryan over even more than he was already. So I'm going to give the roses to Brie because probably nobody else is going to. So since she helped get the Yes movement over, I'll give it to Brie.
Yeah.
But like AJ Lee said, AJ Lee was good, not because he sucked up to the right people. And when it comes to the Queen of sucking up to the right people,
I can't stand him.
I don't have the heart to do it anymore. I
Don't.
really
Nikki
don't.
Bella is the queen of sucking up.
I'm not even. No, I'm done.
I mean,
Marcus.
they got
Oh,
a
you're not
show
Oh
done
out of
yet.
it.
God.
You're not
They
done
ended up
yet.
getting a
You ain't
show, the
done yet.
Bellas, totally Bellas, out of it.
Because we all know Brie Bella got married. She was wifey material. John Cena is not marrying the neighborhood hoe that was sucked the chrome off a fucking bumper.
Thank you for joining us on FTW. You were just gonna go until I did
They
it.
said you can't take the hoe out of a hoe, and you take the hoe to the hotel. So I
Oh,
mean,
good
it's what it
John,
is.
God.
John Cena
And
said,
that's thank you for joining us on FTW. That's 30 right
John
there.
Yes.
Cena, John Cena told Brie, Nikki Bella, I'll never get married again. No, he was like, no, bitch, I ain't marrying you.
Well,
2 minutes after he done, 2 minutes after they broke up, he was married.
we talked
Huh.
about people cheating. He cheated on his ex with Nikki. So it's a full circle on this show, man.
Oh.
All right, last one. And the last one that we're gonna do kind of ties into what we talked about earlier, but
Oh, wait a
because
minute.
about
Didn't
pay-per-view.
Marcus get wait a
Marcus
minute.
went.
Yeah, I went.
Yeah, he
Marcus
picked
went
Nikki.
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
WWE had a couple gimmick pay-per-views I kind of like. The King of the Ring, old school. I'm talking like the old school tournament King of the Ring pay-per-view, and Cyber Sunday when the fans pick different stuff for the matches. Of these two pay-per-views, which one did you like better? Rob, go
King of
first.
the Ring.
Okay.
I liked King of the Ring better because it was a lot less random and I liked tournaments. And there was no seeding. It was basically like random bracketing where they put people in there randomly and they came up with a whole lot of good matches and they still could if they brought it back. So yeah, King of the Ring all the way.
I said, and I would love for them to bring it back. Marcus, what you got?
Oh, this is easy. King of the Ring. Because back then when it first started, we didn't have shows like Raw, SmackDown, where they showed main event matches every week.
Right.
It was special back then, and Cyber Sunday was bullshit.
Right.
Okay,
I can't even remember a Cyber Sunday.
they swayed that vote to it wasn't random fans, because I remember back then I wanted to pick Batista versus Triple H back then, and that wasn't even an option. So it was total bullshit because they could never do random matches based on the fan votes like that. WWE rigged that thing completely. I thought it was a stupid ass concept, and I'm glad they finally got rid of that dumbass pay-per-view.
Bobby, can you go?
Am I lying?
Chris, you up?
Like I said, I can't remember any Cyber Sundays. But King of the Ring was like the Royal Rumble. It used to be a stepping stone to stardom. Like if we just go down the line, and I'm not gonna do any of the ones from the '80s, but you know, Haku, Harley Race. But remember Owen Hart when he won one? He ran around even when he wasn't the king of. He played that shit. That was his gimmick. He was the King of the Ring.
King
Bret
of
the Hitman.
Hearts.
Yeah, Bret the Hitman Hart won it. The Stone Cold one's probably the most famous one because he wasn't even scheduled. Triple H had the Click had they not broke kayfabe, Triple H would have won that year. So it birthed Stone Cold Steve Austin at that King of the Ring, and the birth of Austin 316 came about with his promo against Jake the Snake Roberts.
Yeah, it was kind of like a prototype Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Triple H won the King of the Ring. I mean, oh man, King Booker. Who didn't love King Booker when he even started talking with the English accent after he won?
No, it was
Yeah.
King Booker.
King
Oh,
Booker.
hell, King Booker.
And Queen Charmel. So, but I don't like the style when they do the random King of the Ring matches on SmackDown and Raw. And you have to wait for it, and it's like I just don't dig it. But you know, like if they had a real King of the Ring, this would be the time like a Gunther would win that King of the Ring, and you would know he's the next guy in line. You know what I mean? Like the Intercontinental Champion doesn't mean anything anymore, and now the Royal Rumble, because Reigns is the champion, they can pick who they can go wrestle for the U.S. title after they win the Royal Rumble. It don't make sense, and that, you know, they always put themselves in these corners that they can't get out of. It's the dumbest shit I've ever seen. So if they bring the real King of the Ring back, a real tournament style, that used to be the stepping stone for stardom.
All right. Bobby, can you go? All right. I love the concept of Cyber Sunday. I really did. It just, the shit they picked, I felt like it didn't matter what you voted for. WWE put whatever out there that they wanted. I really think there was one vote, and it was Vince McMahon's.
Yeah.
I love tournament style pay-per-views. I love when they did King of the Ring. One of the reasons I love King of the Ring because one of my favorite WrestleManias was WrestleMania 4.
When the Macho Man won.
Yes. I like that. I wrestled 3-4 times, and it's a pay-per-view. I honestly love that shit. And one of my favorite wrestlers, like y'all know, Ric Flair is my GOAT, my number one, but my number two, you could thump your Bible and say your prayers, and it ain't get you anywhere. Talk about your Psalms, talk about John 3:16. Austin 3:16 says, I just whipped your ass. King of the Ring gave us the greatest thing in wrestling, which was Austin 3:16. And he had no idea at King of the Ring it was going to blow up like it did. And the next Monday on Raw, 3:16 was everywhere. I had 2 or 3 Stone Cold shirts. He had a shirt that they sold in a can of whoop ass.
Yeah, I remember.
I got that shirt because I was back then with bowling. I used to take the can of whoop ass to bowling when we bowled. Like, this is for y'all. I'm opening this shit up for y'all. Keenan, and I always loved Stone Cold before that, but man, Keenan Ray made him a mega star. Thank you, Triple H, for doing the curtain call.
Yeah, by accident.
It was. It really
a lot
was.
of the best stuff is accidents.
That's why they call it organic. When it happens organically, us as fans prefer that over you telling us to like Reigns or like John Cena or force feeding it down our throat.
Yeah, when WWE lets us pick who the guy is, it works a hell of a lot better than it does when they force feed it to us.
I mean, you talk about Austin 3:16. Look at the Yes Movement. Look at Kofi Mania.
Austin's like Michael Jordan. We still buy Austin T-shirts like you buy Jordans. He ain't wrestled in 20 years.
Yeah.
The last time we, when me and Tina went to wrestle, before me, you, and Bobby went, I got an Indianapolis 3:16 shirt.
See, this is one of my main complaints about WWE today, because they want to control that. That's the problem.
Well, that's how television works. Commercials, the news, they tell us what to watch, when to watch it, what to buy. That's how it works. They want to control us.
Bobby is signaling something.
Wrap it up.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, we are done though, because that was our last question of the
this
day.
Was a great show. Good show, Tony.
Oh, looking forward to old school next time. We didn't have our Bobby Heenan, Paul Heyman debate this week because Chris can only take so many L's.
What? I'm undefeated.
Oh
no! I'm talking about Sunday L. You get your ass whooped in fantasy football. Tony Motown Allen is spanking Chris' ass. I'm doing the smiley wiggle on his ass.
Pause. Don't listen to him, guys.
I've got faith in you, Gadgetman. I think that you can win the debate when we finally have it.
The debate's a wrap.
In fantasy football, I'm doing the smiley wiggle.
Oh,
you son of a... The debates, this is it. The secrets to the win is right here.
You guys are wild.
Hey,
well, ladies and gentlemen,
how's your fantasy team doing?
I love
well,
you,
ladies and gentlemen, that's all the time we've got for old school this week. It was a wild one. For the Mastermind, Bobby Rogers, for Marvelous Marcus Buckley, for the ever abused Gadgetman Chris Woods.
I'm bringing it good next week.
And for the crazy and perverted and lovable Tony Motown Allen, this is your not so humble correspondent, Robert Black, saying sign off.
I'm your crazy perverted one. Just like MJF's your scumbag, I'm your pervert.
That's it for Old School for FTW Future Focus. We will definitely see you in the future. Hit that, James Brown.
Hit it. Oh, how you feel, brother? Feeling good. You feel good? Feeling good. It's groovy. There's so much bone, brother. How you feel, man? I feel all right. I'll call your name. I don't want no people to know you're in here. How you feel, fella? That jam. Sure getting down. Look at him. Ha. We're gonna have a funky good time. We're gonna have a funky good time. We're gonna have a funky good time. Ha. We're gonna have a funky good time. Let's take 'em up, Fred. We gotta take you high. Yeah. Ow. All right. You wanna do it again? You wanna do it again, huh? Yeah, let's do one more time. We gotta take you high. Yeah. Bam. Brother. Yeah. Now I want everybody. Let's Fred blow about 2 choruses. And then I want to wave you in. Let's go and do that. We get this now. All right. Yeah. All right. I'm gonna get that back.